we should watch this because it's done by a guy. He's really funny, and I like his stuff, but I haven't seen anything outside of his one shtick that I know. So I'm kind of curious how he does with this other content. So this is Ryan George. And for those of you who do not know Ryan George is, you would basically know him as the pitch meeting guy. Where he's the writer doing the pitch to the producer and he plays both roles and has made the phrase, "Oh, it'll be super easy, barely an inconvenience," popular. That's who Ryan George is. He apparently did a video about street interview. He did something about street interview TikTok. So he is not doing street interviews. At least I don't think. He's doing like a 16-minute video about street interviews and how they've gone out of control. So that's why I'm curious, because he's fun. Like, Ryan George is funny. He is a funny content creator. So I'm really curious of his take on this.
What is your body count? Oh my god, there are more street interviews on the internet than ever, don't you think? It seems like any time I open TikTok because I lack the inner strength, discipline, and willpower to sit quietly with my own thoughts or simply exist for even a fleeting moment without reaching for some kind of constant, distracting external stimulation to fill the void, I see just a flow of these videos of people going up to strangers on the street asking them top-notch questions like,
what is your body count?
Now that's good stuff. That's definitely content. And the oversaturation of this kind of content is only going to get worse because of several reasons that I will get into in this very video, because that's what this video's about. Man on the street style shows have existed for a very long time. I've seen many of them in my 35 years on this planet, and they probably existed before as well, but there's no way for me to verify that at all. I started being Canadian at a very young age. Since birth, if you ask me.
Oh, he's Canadian? I did not realize Ryan George was Canadian. Huh? How about that?
My birth certificate, and that means I've been exposed to Canadian television. Canadian television exposed itself to me when I was a child. And one of the favorite bits that was exposed to me was Rick Mercer's Talking to Americans on This Hour Has 22 Minutes. That's the same show where Nathan Fielder got his start, for any people who care about that kind of thing. And Rick Mercer would go down to the States and talk to people on the street and just play off the fact that a lot of Americans just have absolutely no idea about what's going on in our country.
Congratulations, Canada, on legalizing staplers.
Another popular non-Canadian one is Robert Smigel's Triumph, the insult comic dog, which...
Oh my god. How many of you guys know about Triumph, the insult comic dog? How many of you know about this one? I remember, like, I've never seen Triumph, like, on the actual show. I've seen clips of Triumph, and there were a couple of them that I did laugh my ass off about Triumph. Like, not all of them. They like, a lot of them, I was just kind of like, okay, it's kind of amusing. There was, like, one or two of the Triumphs that I literally just laughed my ass off. But yeah, like, okay, so for those of you who don't know, this was a thing on Conan where it's a hand puppet that's got a cigar in the mouth, and would do basically, like, the man on the street interviews, and his tagline is, like, you know, for me to poop on, because he's a dog. And all right. Some of them funny. Most of them were just most of it was kind of mad, but some of them were actually legit. You know, some of the routines were legit funny.
I was surprised to find out is still going on. There's also been Billy Eichner with Billy on the Street, who had some really fun stuff in that space. I even dabbled in this space myself one time 12 years ago with my friends at Moving Mind Studio. I don't even know what I was trying to accomplish.
What is the most watched episode of Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman?
Who the is Dr. Quinn?
It is a genre of video that satisfies our natural urge to people watch. You know, when you're at an airport or a shopping mall and you're like, whoa, look at that one, and they're looking back at you. Everyone's just glancing at each other out there. But now in recent years with TikTok and Instagram Reels, I think people have realized that not only do these videos perform well, but the bar for entry of making these videos is very low. It's all the way down there. I can't Camera doesn't even go all the way down there. All you really need is a smartphone, and if you're feeling extra fancy, you can get a little video light and an external microphone. Those go for like 30 bucks each on Amazon. And in my experience, if you have those last two things, you don't even really have to approach people. They will approach you, because when people see a microphone and a light, they're like, then they start approaching. Then they start asking, what is this? What are you filming?
Because they think, am I gonna suddenly get internet famous? Because, let's face it, that's how this shit works. Remember the Hawk Tuah girl? She literally spent 30 seconds on an interview on the street video with her infamous quote. And that for whatever reason went viral. And she suddenly was getting to doing tours, and she was, a admittedly failed podcast, but she got a legit 15 minutes of fame from that. Through one of these TikTok, street interviews.
And then unless you do something horrifying that makes them run away, like, I don't know, doing an Animorph transformation but stopping here at the halfway point, you've got a good shot at getting the interview. Because we're all the main characters in our own stories, so in a way, if you get stopped on the street for...
Okay, Sniper Bait, it's not like Hawk Girl, it's Hawk Tuah, because one of these TikTok interview on the street people went up to her. It was basically asking her, I can't remember exactly what the question was. It was something in regards to, like, sexing your man up. And she was basically saying, you gotta, I'm not actually gonna do it because it will artifact like fucking crazy on my microphone. But she was basically saying you give it a Hawk Tuah into your hand to please your man. And yeah, thank you, Ace. Yeah, what Ace just said. And for whatever reason, that, like, went viral, and she got super popular for about 15 minutes, and parlayed that into interviews, which I'm sure she got paid for, and she tried to do a failed podcast, but who knows what else she's going to be doing with it. That's who the Hawk Tuah girl is. And people still do talk about her. Yeah, Mia, it's like the Catch Me Outside girl. It's people just like fucking randomly in these like interview ones can just go fucking viral. Just completely randomly. There is no legitimate reason why she should have gotten popular. LaRook, I don't know. I'd be surprised if she did not. It would surprise me if she did not do merch for it.
For an interview, you might be like, this makes sense that they would want to interview the main character. Then it's just up to the content creator what kind of on-the-street thing they're doing. So let's dive into some of those types. Follow me. I'm over here now. One format that I see a lot of is they're kind of quiz shows where nothing actually really happens. If you don't do well in these quiz games, you get nothing and the video ends. But if you do well, then the video ends and you get nothing. The stakes are pretty high because which of the non-things is not going to happen? These can be pretty...
I mean, let's be honest. It's Whose Line Is It Anyway? Where the points are made up and don't matter. I'm a little sad he didn't reference Whose Line in there. I'm kind of sad he didn't reference Whose Line there because it's the same concept. When points are made up and nothing and don't matter. That's the same concept.
Pretty funny because sometimes they're focused on the dumb answers that people give, kind of like those bits on Jimmy Kimmel Live.
If you get $1 every single day for an entire year, then how much money do you have at the end?
165.
Yes, that was too easy.
Another format I saw is just asking people to choose between two options and doing that for an extended period of time.
Will Smith or Vin Diesel?
Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel or Morgan Freeman?
Morgan Freeman.
And then eventually the video ends, and these are really good for engagement because in the comments people are like, well, that I don't directly agree with those exact choices that were made. When a human person stumbles upon a video such as this, there is a primal urge within us to type out in all caps, "I do not fully agree with this person's choice on this subjective thing, and now everybody needs to know." Here's a video of a girl, though, who did win a thing in
screaming into the void. How much we know it. Wait, what the hell are we talking about in chat? Someone fell off a balcony in Buenos Aires? What the fuck are we talking about? The guy from One Direction. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I heard about that. They did put this in parody on Sci-Fi Games parody in a Titanfall titan called, oh, for God's sake. Chuita? A good segment of the population is doomed. Yes, it is. There is still some bastion of sanity left. Those will be the survivors trying to eke out some kind of an existence in the hellscape that is post-social media.
in a street thing. She won an iPhone.
Give you iPhone.
Are you like for real?
I'm serious.
That was pretty cool to see someone win an actual prize. And then she made a video saying that it was fake and she did not. And now everybody needs to know.
Hang on a
Here's a video
second.
of a girl, though, who did win a thing in a street thing. She won an iPhone.
Give you iPhone.
Are you like for real?
I'm serious.
That was pretty cool to see someone win an actual prize. And then she made a video saying that it was fake and she did not win an iPhone. He told her to fake it.
I'm the girl in
Shocking.
that video. He was just like, I'm not actually gonna give it to you guys. I'm just gonna you're just gonna act like I gave it to you.
Do people lie on the internet? Another big thing in this format is to just
Someone
go
wanted
up
to
to
be
people
Mr.
on the
Beast.
street and ask them personal questions about their lives. You've probably seen these videos where people ask what people are listening to, or what they pay for rent, or what their job is, what their income is, what their name is.
What's your name? 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 What's your name?
God's
What's your
sake.
name? What's your name?
In a very people-watchy way. It's super interesting to hear everybody's perspectives and little tidbits of their lives. It's like people watching, plus you get some info. But there's also a part of me that's like, hey, maybe don't be doing that. Because one thing about the internet that I don't know if you guys know, but not everybody is okay on here. Not everybody is stable
Yeah,
or
very
safe
many
to
are
be
not.
around, or the kind of person you want having any information about you. Like, here's this guy coming up to a girl on the street and filming her, and they have a nice little conversation about confidence, but then she also basically doxes herself. She tells him that she's on break from work, and he asks her where she works, and she tells him and points to it. Turns out they're basically right next to it. It's not blocked in the video. I'm the one blocking it right now. You can tell that they're in New York City. You can see the name of the street corner they're on. It's not blurred again in the video. I'm the one doing that. It took me 2.5 seconds on Google Maps to find the exact store where this girl works. If I were a crazy person, I would know exactly where to go in the city to run into this girl. I could just go.
All right. I'm gonna have to do an in fairness on this one. I am gonna have to do an in fairness on this one. Okay? She showed where she works. She works in a public space. This is not like a private business. This is a public business. Hundreds, perhaps thousands of people can see her on a daily basis. And Yard Dog, that was the next point I was going to make. They list their workplace of employment on social medias. She was not listing her home address. She was not listing her home phone number. She showed where she worked. This is not exactly doxing, Peef. When I think of doxing, I think of, okay, giving your home address so people can come to your home. You're in a public business. You're probably the face of, at the front counter of said business. Having that on the internet is probably one of the least of your problems, because you don't need the internet, especially in New York City, to get crazy people to come into a business. It's, should the content creator have blurred the business information? Okay, sure. Yes. Is it as, bad as Brian George is making it out to be. I would argue it's not as bad as actual doxing with your home. Because especially with the way people overshare on social media, I mean, fuck, for all we know, she has a TikTok account where she shows her own fucking where she herself shows her business. You know, she may have her own TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, whatever account where she has multiple pictures of her business that is shown the location of the business. Because people of this age that are heavily into social media do that. I understand, Peef. I understand that. But you'll also notice in this video, she didn't say, like, hey, I don't want you to show my business. I don't want you to show where I work. Like, should this TikTok creator take personal responsibility and say, okay, I'm going to blur this before I post it to be a decent person? Yes. I'm not going to disagree with that in any way. Absolutely, yes. Should they have done the decent and right thing by blurring off the street or anything that could have identified her business just to be a decent human being? Absolutely. I won't. Absolutely, I think that. Is it as severe as Brian George is making it? I would say probably not. Someone if someone walks up you in the street and tries to talk to you, you should hide your face and walk away. Social engineering is so rampant that people can use basic information most people don't think about. Just sharing randomly can be used to steal a person's identity. Andrea, there's one problem with that. And that is you basically have to... If that is one part of... I've heard other things about, oh, you have to be careful so your identity doesn't get stolen and social engineering. At this point, all of the Murinates about this kind of thing literally encompass every moment of your life. And the only solution is to literally hide in your own home, never go online, and never talk to anyone outside of your own family again, and even then it's suspect. At some point, you have to, at some point, unless you do not want to be an absolute recluse from society, you cannot be on guard like that 24 hours a day. Because you will drive yourself mad doing so. Basic precautions, sure. Basic safety, I absolutely sure. But what you were saying about, if someone approaches you on the street to do an interview, hide your face and walk away, it's like it's like directing people to live in a state of paranoia. And that's not a way to live. Living in a constant state of paranoia that your identity could be stolen, or that you're being part in social engineering, that's not a way to live. You will not be happy if you live that way. Take your basic precautions. Absolutely. But you can't live in paranoia. It doesn't work.
Go baby reindeer it and stand at a bus stop across the street from her and wait for her to come by. And for the purposes of this video, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. So I checked out cheapest flights from Montreal to New York City. I packed my bag and then didn't do that at all because I'm...
Wait, he's from Montreal? Why is he speaking English? God, I would have figured the Quebec government wouldn't let him do this YouTube channel in English. Huh?
not Joe Goldberg. See, I was doing an internet lie there. I'm trying it out. This video has over
No,
4
not at all,
million
Keith.
views. There could be some Joe Goldbergs in there, which is a scary thing to think about. And here's the thing, you don't need to answer questions from strangers on the street. You're not legally obligated to do so, contrary to popular belief, it seems. I'm kind of wondering why scammers are even bothering with phishing emails anymore. Just start a TikTok account and head out onto the street with a microphone. What is your social security number and banking password? What verification code did Google just send you when I tried to log into your account? Another very popular form of this video is guys with extreme levels of confidence trying to pick up girls. Trying to rizz girls up, as they say. I know some words. I know some of them. The guys that run these accounts have so much confidence that I don't.
I mean, yeah, Peace. I know. That's why I was so surprised that he said he was flying out of Montreal, flying from Montreal. That just really surprised me.
I know some of them. The guys that run these accounts have so much confidence that I don't even think they can recognize when interactions didn't really go well. Here's a guy named Callie the Kid, and just to illustrate this guy's level of confidence, he has multiple edits of himself on his page. You know how confident you have to be to do that? Anyway, here's an interaction of his that he uploaded that I think he thinks went pretty well.
What's the first thing you notice in a guy when he approaches you?
If I'm gonna die or not. Am I gonna be kidnapped? Hopefully you're not gonna kidnap me with a bright light.
Oh, what are you doing Tuesday? Should be perfect. Would you want to skip that for a date in a G-Wagon and a Lamborghini?
No, I gotta go.
No, you don't though.
My Uber.
Yeah, I need drive. He can wait, let's be honest.
I'll follow you back in 2 seconds when I'm in my Uber.
I bet.
Okay, bye.
I'm not sure what the point of uploading that was. She refused his date and said she was going to add him back on Instagram, but
by the way, this video of his is only exemplifying why if a girl says no and the guy keeps pushing, that it's okay. Because notice, she's like, I've got to go, I've got an Uber. And she was trying to leave, and he kept pushing more and more and more and more and more. And so the brain-rotted TikTok crowd will think, oh, she's a Chad. When he's a fucking creep. But because, I guess, conventionally he's considered attractive, I don't consider him attractive. But I guess conventionally he's attractive. He has what could be considered like an exotic accent. And he is dressed, I will say, conventionally well. Because personally, the black turtleneck with the chain I think is fucking hideous. Is very Jersey Shore-like. Him pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. Because at the end, you heard her say, yeah, I'm going to follow you back once I get into my Uber. She ain't following him back. But she did that just to get the fuck away from him. Like, he was literally being stalker-like.
He's got a very punchable face and attitude.
Yeah. So, but again, this is basically going the opposite direction of, if a woman is saying, I understand the principle of if a woman says no initially and you keep pushing, like you keep, we'll say, making your case for lack of a better word, and you kind of wear her down and she's like, okay, I'll go out with you, and she's like charmed by you, like your persistence. That's different from, okay, this girl is literally trying to get away from him. She's literally walking away from him with her suitcase saying, I've got to get an Uber, and he keeps going. That's not like the romantic pursuing that women want. This is just flat out creepy stalker behavior.
point of uploading that was she refused his date and said she was going to add him back on Instagram, but I'd be shocked if she did. Also, maybe don't look at your friend and be like, oh, she'd be perfect when you're going up to a girl. I'm no self-proclaimed Riz king. Maybe when you have a lot of Riz, you can use serial killer lines like that. I don't know. Here's another guy so confident he seemingly goes in with no preparation. He likes to do this move where he asks the girl to do a little spin for the camera.
Okay, well, you look fabulous. Can I get a little spin for the camera? Hold this. Wow, no?
She might have refused to spin, but he's ready to go with a question that makes almost no sense.
If Diddy were to throw a party on Mars, what would be the dress code?
Nice. Hit her with another prompt. That'll be good.
What is something you
Look, did you see her face?
the dress code?
She's like fucking done. After one question, she's done. Like...
Nice. Hit her with another prompt. That'll be good.
What is something you can say in a job interview that you can also say in bed?
So just to be clear, the strategy on these videos is, hey, please spin around and show your butt to my friend who is filming you, and then do some light improv with me. Show your butt to a stranger, and then let's play Whose Line Is...
Yeah, that whole be persistent until she says yes. Mind game women play is weird. Cheer 100.
Yeah, Aaron, it's like... And that's where, like, that dovetails into a whole different thing about how women do mind games, and yet at the same time they want guys to pursue them, but they'll also, you know, cry stalker or something in the drop that. I know, it's like, that is a whole other thing that we're not going to get into. We've been into it before. We're not going to get into it on this one, but I know what you're saying.
Is it anyway? This seems to be a recurring thing for this guy, just asking girls to spin and then have them do improv. This guy's like if a washing machine signed up for the Groundlings. Here's another Riz man who calls himself the Riz God. And admittedly, he gets a lot of numbers, but also, I think, unintentionally, occasionally uploads a self-own.
I need you. It's imperatively important.
You've already stopped me twice.
I've already stopped. When? Bullshit.
Oh. No.
You're telling me that 2 years ago I stopped you, last year I stopped you, and I'm here again. Yeah. That says everything about my life.
He's not wrong. That does say everything about his life. It does. She asks for her Instagram, and she says he already did that, and she didn't give it. He shows his abs. She's still not interested. He had a great time, though. I don't really think that interaction went the way he thinks it did, though. A cool thing about this guy is that he's now offering a Riz class called The Truth. I'm honestly...
Really? Okay, chat, I shouldn't have to say this, but I'm going to just in case. Just in case, I'm going to say this. Never, ever, ever take one of these bullshit online classes. Like what's this fuck? I forgot his name. You know who I'm talking about, though. The jackass who's like, oh, you can be an alpha Chad if you pay me like $59. Tate, thank you. Yes, Andrew Tate. See, that's how important I think he is. Yeah, like Andrew Tate, or this guy, or the hundreds of thousands of guys that post this shit and say, sign up for my class, and you're going to be an alpha Chad or a giga Chad, and you'll have all the bitches, and you're going to make millions. And just take my class for $49.99, $59.99 a month.
That looked like a mugshot.
Kinda. Yeah. So yeah, just in case there's any question, don't ever take one of these classes. They're all scams. Every single one of them. You want to know how to be an alpha Chad? Ask a VTuber anime cat girl. I'll tell you straight how to do it. And I'll do it for free too.
Pretty interested in signing up for it. Not because I want to learn any Riz tricks, because I want to know more about the mentality of this type of guy, who at 23 years old goes, I am the king of Riz, and I will teach you my ways. As part of his qualifications, he mentions that he's grown from the person that he used to be, referring to himself at 14 years old, not knowing what he wanted to do with his life. Hey, that's how every person works. Hey guys, this is something I don't talk about a lot, but when I was 12 years
You want to know how to do it, Haibu? Be yourself. Don't try and be something you're not. Because when you try to be something you're not, either A, you're going to get called out on it instantaneously as a fraud, that you're going to get seen right through, or you're going to get called out on it when you can't maintain it for more than a day or one date. Be yourself. Don't be focused on being a Giga Chad. Giga Chads are assholes. Do you want to be an asshole? I don't think so. Be yourself.
For a low price of 420, 69 Ember will teach you what women want.
Honestly, this is for both men and women. Be yourself. There are 6-7 billion people on this planet. There is someone out there for you. But at the same time, don't spend your entire life focused on finding that person for you. If you find them, that's wonderful. If you don't, that's okay too. You know, despite what popular society has tried to ingrain into our consciousness, you don't need a romantic partner to have a happy and fulfilling life. You don't. If you're able to find that special someone, that's beautiful. That is absolutely wonderful if you are able to. But if you don't, that's all right. You can still have a happy and fulfilling life without having a romantic or life partner. It is not in this day and age where we have evolved beyond our biological imperatives of must breed, must continue the bloodline. You don't need to. That's my advice. Be yourself and just be happy. Be happy with who you are. Don't think that you have to make a dramatic change, like doing one of these stupid bullshit classes, to become someone that you are not. Because you're going to be unhappy. And getting the opportunity to just fuck a bunch of, in the eyes of the beholder, hot girls is a drop in the bucket compared to your entire lifetime. It's 5 seconds of happiness, and then you're done, and the happiness is gone. It's not long lasting. It shouldn't be your focus. It absolutely should not. And these kind of classes are designed only to take your money away. You're not gonna find happiness in some bullshit self-help class. That's not where you're gonna find happiness. You're gonna find happiness inside yourself. As long as you stay true to yourself and try to do the best, do right by yourself and do right by others, you're gonna find that kind of happiness. No, diabetes, I'm saying 5 seconds afterwards. I'm saying like as soon as it ends, 5 seconds later. I'm not saying that you guys are gonna last 5 seconds. I'm not insulting you like that. I'm saying 5 seconds after it is all said and done. Okay?
Years old, I was unemployed, but now I am. Please sign up for my class. He also has this video about how going up to girls is a win-win situation.
Going and approaching a girl is a complete win-win situation. There is nothing at risk, and this is what guys don't seem to understand.
And Chad Kroger's premise here is that if you go up to a girl and she says, yes, she would maybe potentially touch your pee-pee, that is a win. And if she rejects you, well, then you've gained experience and resilience by interrupting a woman on the street and forcing her into
Red bastard. Oh my.
a situation where she has to reject a man she does not know and has no idea how he handles rejection. That's a win-win for everyone involved. Well.
Actually, let me back that up again.
She has to reject interrupting a woman on the street and forcing her into a situation.
I get what you're saying, Ember, but when your biology eats at you, it becomes almost impossible to ignore Cheer 100.
To some degree, yes, Aaron, but we as the human species have evolved beyond the biological need to continue the bloodline. Don't confuse.
There is someone for everyone. Mine is apparently either in federal prison or witness protection.
Yeah, Aaron, don't confuse the biological desire of experiencing pleasure versus the biological need to spread your genes. You know, literally to further your bloodline. Don't confuse the two. Yes, I understand the biological need of basically, you know, wanting to experience pleasure, i.e., you get horny. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this, you know, supposedly biological desire that our only purpose in life is to extend our bloodline to the next generation. We as a species have honestly evolved beyond that. We have. There are millions of people on this planet who, if they do not succumb to social pressure, don't have any need to continue their bloodline. Now, as far as like loneliness goes, like yes, we as human beings by and large are social creatures. We are social creatures, whether that be for just friendship or romance, that could be up for debate. But that is social life. That is a social thing. That's not like biological imperatives, is what I'm saying. So, if you're referring to like the social desire, the social and mental desire to be with other people or be with a romantic partner, okay, I get that. But again, that is wanting to experience pleasure versus the deep-rooted lizard brain. I must extend my bloodline and create the next generation. Those are two different things. In my opinion, they're two very different things.
Where she has to reject a man she does not know and has no idea how he handles rejection. That's a win-win for everyone involved. Well, I used to be a Rizless 8-year-old. Please sign up for my catcalling class. Another incredibly popular form of street interviews is going up to very drunk girls and asking them super personal, often...
Falcon? Yeah, I mean, you are in a unique position. You are. And like I can understand your, where you would experience your frustration. Because for you, it's you experience a limitation on all fronts. And so it's kind of the same thing for you, but you have that added weight of not being able, or not. No, I shouldn't say that. Not being able, but you have the added weight of the limitations put upon you by the unfortunate circumstances of nature, where it is more difficult for you to find friends or romantic partner. And I can understand how that can weigh very heavily on your shoulders, and it weighs very heavily on your mind. So I absolutely appreciate how difficult it is for you in your position because of that. it is a bit of a different circumstance. Yeah, I will not deny that. You are in a very different and somewhat, unique circumstance compared to other, other individuals that may be in chat. So, yeah, we all have our own issues. Some have much more significant issues. And that is just the course of nature, but then we end, regardless, you have to try and be happy with yourself through what means you can attain. Nobody's going to be 100% happy. No person on the face of the planet is ever going to be 100% happy. We all have our own issues of varying degrees. And that is what we have to try and contend with. And sometimes overcome in order to be happy. And yeah, Falcon, I understand. I do. Especially in this day and age. Especially in this day and age. I understand what you are asking feels impossible. I know it does. And I cannot promise you that it's never going to happen. Or I can't promise you that it is never not going to happen. But Falcon, I think you should also maybe look at having perhaps something of a mindset that they can see the wheelchair, but they can also see you. That it's okay for them to see both.
I have OCD that is both physically and mentally debilitating. It robbed me of a football career in high school, my college life, and my brief military career.
Yeah, that can be debilitating. But yeah, Falcon, don't try and pigeonhole yourself to say, I want them to see me in a wheelchair. Try to get, the best advice I can offer is to maybe try to get yourself into a mindset where it's okay that they see the wheelchair so long as they also see you as well. Because as long as they're still seeing you, that's important. Even if they still see the wheelchair, they're still seeing you. That's perhaps a better mindset to... That might perhaps be a better mindset to work with. And Falcon, extend that maybe to any possible, romantic interests. Kind of extend that mindset. That's, for some people like yourself, it's the best you can do, and yeah, you're gonna run into a lot of people who are just gonna be like, they're gonna nope right out because people are people. How many times have we said it on the stream? People are dumb, stupid, panicky animals. That is people. Just try to keep that in your mind.
Up for my catcalling class. Another incredibly popular form of street interviews is going up to very drunk girls and asking them super personal, often sexual questions.
What is your confession?
Let's... Sorry, hang on, I accidentally clicked on something there by mistake.
Questions.
What is your confession?
How many bodies are you catching on spring break?
What is your craziest college confession?
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
What is the most watched episode of Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman?
Not to be.
Okay, well, that was him at the end, but yeah, well, I mean, with these where they're asking like super inappropriate questions, yeah. I'll tell you after writing those. This is on spring break, which unfortunately is basically just viewed as essentially like sexathon for 1 week. Cause he's asking these girls these questions on what looks like spring break. Especially with this one, talking about spring break. Yeah, spring break is basically viewed as sex week. Flat out. Is it right? No, probably not. But a lot of the, not all, but how many college students going on sex break? Yes, that was a Freudian slip. How many college students going on spring break are there to basically just party and fuck? How many people on spring break don't go to the beach for this? Like, a spring break, I don't think is as popular as it once was because people are pretty much fucking done with this. Honestly, they're pretty much done with it. They're pretty much done with the bullshit that is spring break, and instead they just go home and relax for that 1 week because they're so drained from college. Yeah, K-Dog, I'd say a lot of people do the same thing now. And as far as the Dr. Quinn question at the end, that was Ryan George himself, the maker of this video, that did like an interview on the street thing when he was younger. That's what he was showing.
Be an old man or anything, but the internet is forever. Maybe don't share this stuff. But when you're intoxicated and walking down the street with your friends having a good time, those thoughts of future impacts of saying extremely detailed sexual things on camera, that's probably not going through your head. Which is why I think the flip side's even worse. Going up to clearly drunk women on the street and asking them these super intimate details about their lives when they're not really in the state of mind to properly think of the ramifications of sharing that. And by ramifications, of course, I mean becoming a millionaire.
He is gonna talk about it. He's gonna talk about it. Okay, before he gets into the Hawk Tuah girl, I want to say something about this, where he's like talking about going up to these drunk girls and they're like doing these confessions. Let's be honest, okay? It is honesty time, folks. The people that these like, especially the spring break crowd that these guys go up to and they do the interview, probably would answer these questions if they were sober, because they are desperate for social media clout and social media attention. They see the camera, they see the microphone, and they're like, I'm gonna be on the internet. I'm gonna get clicks. I'm gonna get likes. And there's a very good chance they will react the same way, even if they weren't drunk. It's time to be honest about this, because these are young 20-somethings desperate for clout on the internet. They care more about the internet clout than any legitimate career or even their studies. So, Ryan George, talking about how these interviewers are kind of talking to these girls when they're drunk and getting them to say things they're not thinking about they're not thinking about the consequences. They wouldn't think about the consequences regardless. Let's be realistic. These individuals would not think about the consequences even if they weren't drunk, because they're that desperate and hungry for clout and fame. Yep.
The state of mind to properly think of the ramifications of sharing that. And by ramifications, of course, I mean
people make TikToks saying exactly what we were just saying there in those clips when they're dead sober. They will make TikToks like in the seat of, from their car talking about that. So it's, don't act like it's like, oh, these are poor victims when they're fucking doing this for clicks anyway. No, I did not see that. Thank God.
Becoming a millionaire.
And this is what I was talking about earlier.
Street interviews without talking about the Hawk Tuah girl.
Oh, you gotta give him that Hawk Tuah and spit on that thing.
We will look back at that video as a pivotal point in the world of street interviews. There's not much to be said about the Hawk Tuah girl that hasn't been said already. I do like that she seemingly used a lot of her newfound fame and fortune to set up some kind of animal charity or something. I saw that her new pod.
Okay. She used her fame to set up an animal charity. How legitimate is this? Let's be honest here. How legitimate is this? Well, and Taurus, that's kind of the ever-loving point. Is that she's mid, but she like skyrocketed to very brief fame with what she said in that video. But like, okay, she's parlayed into this supposed charity. What are the chances that a year from now, 2 years from now, we're going to hear about a Sunny V2, we're going to watch a Sunny V2 video talking about the Hawk Tuah girl having been running a scam charity, namely this. The chances are high, let's be honest. In this day and age, pretty fucking high chance. Yep, exactly, Drysel.
Charity or something. I saw that her new podcast, Talk Tuah, is one of the most popular podcasts in the country.
What? I thought her podcast died. I thought she tried to do this podcast and it died a horrible death. This is saying it's number 5 on Spotify. Yeah, you guys said that, like, I never listened to it, of course, on Spotify. You guys were saying that it died.
But I'd have to be insane to sit through 4 episodes of Talk Tuah.
It's like 6 days ago.
In the first episode, she has Whitney Cummings on, who, God bless her, is trying extremely hard to keep the podcast entertaining and flowing because, well, the Hawk Tuah girl doesn't know how to host a podcast, which isn't her fault. She's been famous for like 3 months. She shares a little anecdote about meeting Jake Paul and how he is in real life.
He was exactly what I expected. Like, he lets on like he's an asshole, and that's what I like about him. He owns up to that shit. He knows it.
I really enjoyed that because usually those...
And thus... I'll admit she's kind of pretty. Young blonde exemplifies the exact problem with her generation. Logan Paul is an asshole, but I like him because he owns it. Chet, when did we as a society go from he's an asshole, you shouldn't aspire to be him, to he's an asshole, but I like that he owns it. I want to be just like that. I wish I could pinpoint when this happened. Like, okay, so like Peef, the interview that skyrocketed her to fame, she was obviously drunk. From the podcast here where she's talking,
about meeting Jake Paul and how he is in real life.
Or Jake Paul, not Logan.
Exactly what I expected. Like, he lets on like he's an asshole, and that's what I like about him. He owns up to that shit. He knows it.
I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I mean, she does give off a vibe of being girl next door, but maybe not exactly the girl next door that you would want to be involved with. So. Yeah, I know, Andrea. I know. I don't like it, but I know.
Because usually those stories are like, yeah, he seems like a jerk, but he's a sweetie pie in real life. She's like, he seems like a jerk, and he is. He's not a good guy at all. Episode 2 features a constant and nauseating porch swinging motion from her friends, made worse by the fact that I was watching at double speed. A lot of the conversation revolves around the fact that it's crazy that she's famous now. Pretty crazy. In episode 3, a former bachelorette is on, and you know what? A lot of the conversation revolves around the fact that it's crazy that she's famous now. Pretty crazy. She also thought that Jimmy Carter was a porn star.
99 years old, big deal. Is he a porn star?
What?
Did this dumb bitch just ask if Jimmy Carter is a porn star? Are you fucking kidding me? One of the greatest presidents in modern history, who to this day, at like 99 fucking years old, is still out there building goddamn houses by hand. And you're gonna ask, is he a porn star? Well, I mean, baby Jeebus, you're Canadian. It's like that can be forgiven. She's Texan. Like, I just fucking can't with the Gen Zers. I just fucking can't anymore. They say shit like that. It's like, why is your brain... When she said he's 99 years old, immediately go to porn star.
If this podcast is popular, then go ahead and send the nukes Skynet. I'm done. Cheer 100.
Yeah. Hang on, I'll play it again.
99 years old, big deal. Is he a porn star? What?
"99 years old. And the question is he a porn star?
Carter was a porn star.
99 years old, big deal. Is he a porn star?
I think the hair dye has seeped into her brain. That's the only logical explanation, is her hair dye has seeped into her brain and corrupted it. No, Incognito, this is why No Child Left Behind is killing the younger generations. She is a result of No Child Left Behind. Because they just, rubber stamped her through school instead of giving her a proper education. Because she is not in the minority in terms of intellect level. She is not. She's absolutely not the minority when it comes to intellect. And that should scare the fucking shit out of every single one of you.
What?
Most of the show seems to be these girls in their early 20s talking like girls in their early 20s and sharing stories with each other, but not really filling up.
I have heard gens talk dumb, but this just show they don't know a damn ass thing.
No. They don't. And then that's why I said you can blame that on No Child Left Behind.
Us in?
Wait, you remember those girls in the bathroom at that bar that were telling us that? I was like, what?
For that reason, I sped through episode 4 at lightning speeds. I don't know how sustainable this podcast is going to be, and it wasn't clear why this is performing so well until I realized that the Talk to a podcast basically has its own Morbius meme effect going on. Like, remember when Morbius came out and every comment section was talking about how Morbius changed their life? People are doing that.
I imagine she still requires the rails on a bowling alley.
Well, I mean, Laruk, lack of intelligence does not translate into lack of physical capability, so let's not go there. But God forbid you actually ask her to write a paper on anything.
Exact kind of thing with the Talk to a podcast. Just comment after.
Wait. I was a miserable alcoholic until I discovered the Talk to a podcast. I have stayed clean from drugs for over 30 years. Thank you, Talk to a, for making me start again. Oh, shit. I'm a single father of 18 living in the slums of Kenya. While traveling to the well to collect our daily water, a hawk flew by and delivered a letter. We went to inform the village priest, as no one else in the village is literate. As soon as he told us there was a new Hawk Tua episode, I immediately grew wings. Oh my fuck. I'm a 41-year-old surgeon mid-operation. I got an important message that the that the Talk to a podcast was released. I dropped everything and rushed home immediately. Thank you for saving my life. This is all meaning. That's what Brian George is saying. It's like this is like memeing, like when the Morbius thing, the Morbius memes on social media from the Morbius movie. That's what all this is.
Doing that exact kind of thing with the Talk to a podcast. Just comment after comment about how the Talk to a podcast has been a life-changing event for all these people. There's also a whole thing on TikTok where people are pretending to be super into it.
Like an emphasis on like.
So I kind of think whatever the shelf life of that meme is going to be the shelf life of Talk to a. But despite all that, there is an interesting point she made in the first episode, which is kind of the point I'm trying to make with this whole video.
They're in Nashville still like trying to recreate it.
No
like
one.
there's interviews everywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
So the street where she was interviewed is now crawling with people trying to interview each other or trying to get interviewed. And if it's not like that already, I think it's going to be like that on every college campus or every party street.
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the live stream on forums in China, where they have warehouses filled with like 100, 200, 300 people in these tiny little 4x4 cardboard cubicles, live streaming 24 hours a day. What he was just talking about, that one street in Texas where they're trying to recreate it, feels like those live streamer farms. That's what it feels like.
In every city in North America, because who wouldn't want to become insanely rich for pretending to spit on genitals? Now that I'm saying it out loud, I hope the answer is a lot of people. But this whole thing is also going to start influencing how companies try to advertise to you. They were already trying to figure out how to get into this space, but now they're just going to go into overdrive. Here's a clothing brand doing their version of this. Here's a noodle brand. When I was 3 years old, I had no noodles. And I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I'm a person who makes a part of my living doing brand deals on the internet. But this format has some sensitive areas. It's probably a better way to phrase that. This Ad Age article talks about a marketing agency called Linkia, and they say they've had a lot of demand for this style of content. The key things here that I think they're doing right is that they have a pool of vetted creators, and Linkia itself is going to handle the logistics of the branded shoots, like collecting signed release forms for those appearing in the videos. That's an important thing. I'm speculating here, but I seriously doubt any of these pickup artists or body count TikTokers are going to get these people to sign release forms saying that they're okay with being used for promotional campaigns that they'll see no money for. Luckily,
intelligence has been evaluated, and the God Emperor had decided to spare your world. It's too stupid to bother with.
Andrea? Honestly, I would not be surprised if aliens are refusing to visit our planet for that very reason. It would not surprise me if we have yet to encounter actual alien life because we have been deemed too stupid to make contact with. Absolutely. Oh God, doing TTSs.
As a delegate of the older Gen Z, I sincerely apologize for my generation's ignorance and offense they cause. If it were up to me, I'd hit the reset button. I am ashamed. Cheer 100.
Doing TTSs!
Or we see her in one of those garbage dump celebrity, all stuck in one house, shows that nobody watches.
Okay, let me read these. So, Nyantari said he was not a porn star, but she might end up a second-hand porn star after her miserable 20 minutes of fame have died off. Or we see her in one of those garbage dump celebrity all stuck in one house shows that nobody watches. Mintari? The second half of that, I 100% agree. Aaron, you said, as a delegate of the older Gen Z, I sincerely apologize for my generation's ignorance and offense they cause. If it were up to me, I'd hit the reset button. I am ashamed. Fair enough. Where I get the problem is, the biddies is working off of a different system. Biddies is working off of Stream Elements, the TTS is working off of Tangia. So they're not talking to one another in terms of queuing up. And I can't get Tangia to accept set bits properly because Tinja keeps having a heart attack every time I try to set up bit rewards on it, so.
Branded content hasn't reached these creators yet, except it has, and I'm lying. I'm getting pretty good at it.
What's up, guys? I don't know, it's golden hour, but your skin is glowing right now. What do you think of my skin, though?
Looks amazing.
Flawless?
Hello, I like your skin. Do you like my skin?
It's actually, I use Tiege hand.
Oh. Sorry, Buffalo Bill. Walking up and saying, "You have nice skin. I like your skin. It looks really nice. Do you moisturize? Oh, what size are you? You have really great skin." Yeah, well, that's why I said Buffalo Bill.
It's like a new skincare system I've been using. You recommend it for like guys?
I'm using Tiege. Do you recommend it? Why do you ask if she recommends it?
I mean, when a guy takes care of himself, that's pretty attractive, no? That's hot? Well, I want you for Christmas.
Smooth transition into the pickup. Seamless
What?
product integration.
Wait. He literally just said, "I want you for Christmas." Why is this guy not... Well, he probably doesn't give a shit about her. Oh my fuck. Falcon, even if it was me? Good call. Well, here's the other thing. What do you want to bet this is not as unscripted as they make it seem? What do you want to bet they approached this group, talked to them first, gave them the general gist of what they're going to do before they film? They may not have told them exactly, well, they may not have like scripted it out, but they said, "Listen, we're doing a promotion for this. We want to do this as like a meeting someone on the street thing. We're going to talk about this. Are you guys cool with it?" Yeah, okay. And then they move to position and it makes it seem like, "Oh, I'm just walking up to him on the street." 100% it's staged.
I want you for Christmas.
Smooth transition into the pickup. Seamless product integration. No notes. In conclusion, if you take anything from this video, if you see someone on the street with a smartphone and a microphone and a light, you don't have to go into the light. Don't go into the light. Don't go into the light. And if
I can't help it. It's so beautiful. That was a Bug's Life joke, chat.
you're thinking of starting one of these interview shows where you go up to women on the street, go for it. It's literally a win-win. Hi there, hello. Please hit that subscribe button. I am a disembodied head, so you can trust me. You can trust me. That was interesting, without question. That was definitely he went more in depth than I was expecting, so that was a lot of fun.